Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. Welcome to our first webinar Zoom meeting for Tulia, Zimbabwe. And today we're going to just be looking at the roadmaps for teachers and social workers who are looking to migrate to the UK. So you may be here listening for yourself or for a family member. So we're going to have two presentations from one from Wayne and one from Michelle, where they will talk about the two respective routes, and then we'll have times for questions and answers, and then how we can help you as Tulia Zimbabwe. So what's important, and I think to highlight from the beginning, is that our organization is not a recruitment agency. We're not here to offer you a job, like to just say you can get a job, you can do this. We're not scammers, but we are an organization that can hold your hand and help you throughout the road and throughout the route that you will be taking, helping you with the steps, but also in applying for jobs. And I think with both of these sectors, there are sectors where mostly you'll be working for local government or private organizations, but mostly it's local government. And so the procedures for recruitment and all of that are things that we can support you with, and work with other professionals in these sectors to give you the best support possible. And also, when you come in to the UK, we also see a lot of people facing challenges and problems. And our service then continues on through the support that you can get from Tulia UK. So we're going to go into all of that. But firstly, we're going to have Wayne, who's going to talk about the teacher's roadmap, and then Michelle will talk about the social workers. Um, what we would also like for you to do is take notes, ask questions in the chat, anything that you've got, ask questions. And if you could perhaps just introduce yourselves as well, just tell us where you are currently, if you're a teacher, if you're a social worker, and what your situation is. There is always there are always questions that you may have, but we'll answer the questions at the end, and you can even put the questions in the chat so that you don't forget. And I'd also ask that you mute yourselves just so that so that we're not hearing any background noise during the presentation, so that we can hear clearly. Please, may all the other co-hosts just check for people in the waiting room and let them in as we progress through the morning. So I'm going to hand over to Wayne. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our webinar for teachers and social workers who want to migrate to the UK for work. So my name is Wayne, and I will be presenting on the teacher's roadmap to working in the United Kingdom. Okay, so today these are the things that we're going to cover. We're firstly going to cover why the UK is recruiting overseas teachers. We're also going to cover the visa routes that are available to teachers. And we're also going to talk about the qualified teacher status, or the QTS. We're also going to talk of the salary thresholds and the shortage subject advantage. We're going to talk about the step-by-step application process. We're going to talk of the costs and the realistic timeline for the applications and everything else involved. We're also going to talk about where to find sponsor license, and if you'll be able to bring your family and settle in the UK. And also we're going to discuss common type of scams that you should avoid, and also give you a checklist of things that you should tick off on your box whilst you're making these applications. Okay, so why is the UK actively recruiting teachers overseas? England is currently facing a persistent shortage of STEM subjects, modern foreign languages, and schools and teachers in their schools in certain regions. Recruitment agencies are actively targeting Zimbabwean teachers because ZIMSEC and Cambridge curriculums experience maps directly onto the IGCSE and A-level teaching, meaning less training and also faster acclimatization for Zimbabwean teachers. So basically, Zimbabwean teachers are more suited to the UK education system. So as a result, the UK is in search of Zimbabwean teachers. This is a real and significant stat, as Zimbabwe has been named among the top skilled worker visa source countries in recent years, and unions at home have raised concerns about the resulting strain on the local system of teachers, as there has been a number of teachers migrating to the UK over time, and a lot of teachers have actually been able to get jobs, settle in the UK, and actually start a life for themselves in the UK. So we mainly have two visas for you to be able to go to the UK as a teacher. The first one that we're going to discuss is the skilled worker visa, which is the main route. And the skilled worker visa offers usually for permanent teaching posts. Uh, you also need to have a sponsor license or a COS, and you have to meet the salary threshold, which is stated by the Home Office. And it can also lead to settlement through the indefinite leave to remain. We also have the student visa, which is the PGCE. If you do not have a UK qualification yet, which is the qualified teacher status, you can go through this route. It covers initial teacher training, needs for unconditional training provider offer, and you can work up to 20 hours a week during the term, and you can work full time during the holidays. So I'll explain further about the two which I just mentioned and some of the things which I mentioned, such as the qualified teacher status. So the qualified teacher status, or the QTS. So this is the first step that you have to do in order for you to be able to work in the UK as a teacher. It is not a visa requirement, meaning that you can apply for a skilled worker visa without it. It is usually required in public schools or state schools. Um, Overseas teachers can apply directly online for the QTS. You can apply via the Teaching Regulation Agency, and the processing time for the QTS is 2 to 4 months. Some countries are fast-tracked, like what we've mentioned, that Zimbabwe is a country that is well sought after. The teachers in Zimbabwe are well sought after in the UK. So some countries might be fast-tracked. And you can also apply for jobs while your QTS is being processed. So for you to be able to work in government schools, for you to be able to work properly as a teacher in the United Kingdom, you first need to apply for your qualified teacher status. This you can do online by yourself, or you can come to us. We'll gladly assist you. And the time frame for applying for that QTS is 2 months to 4 months. And it depends, as mentioned before, some countries are fast-tracked because their teachers are, more sought after in the UK. So to qualify for QTS or qualified teacher status, you need a recognized degree, a teaching qualification, either a diploma in education or PGCE. You need 1 year relevant teaching experience, and you need no professional sanctions or restrictions. So you can actually apply for QTS whilst you're also searching for a job. As mentioned before, QTS does not applying for a QTS does not prevent you from looking for a job or even applying for a skilled worker visa. So the salary threshold that you need to meet if you're applying via our main route, which is the skilled worker visa, it will be 41,700 pounds a year. So when you're looking for a job, some jobs will state the salary that they're going to give you a year. And even if they don't, you're supposed to ask. So when you ask how much they're offering you, the salary threshold or the minimum salary that they should be offering you should meet the regulations that have been stated by the Home Office. And in this case, it's 41,700 a year. Or you can always check on the website, which is gov.org, the standard going rate for the specific job code that you've applied for, because sometimes they do change. So you need to always be on alert to see if the salary threshold has changed. And if you're applying for a job, you should always make sure it meets the required salary threshold. So the UK is currently facing a huge shortage in STEM teachers. This is your physics, your chemistry, your mathematics, computers, modern foreign languages. So if you fit in this category, you know that your chances of getting a job in the UK are very high, because right now there's a huge shortage of such teachers. So if you know you're a maths teacher, science teacher, and the likes, if your main teaching subjects are STEM, then you know you're able to easily and quickly get a job, because right now there are a lot of jobs that are on offer. There are a lot of vacancies that are being advertised every day. So your duty is to just make sure that you meet the requirements. So this is a step-by-step guide um, of how to go from a classroom in Zimbabwe to a classroom in the UK. So first of all, we said you search for the roles. That's applying. So the UK is very easy to get job vacancies, because they do have um, they do have official websites where you can actually get teaching vacancies. For example, the UK government's teaching vacancies service, or the reputable or any other reputable international recruitment agencies. It's easy to verify these recruitment agencies. It's You can verify these recruitment agencies, and we can also assist you in getting these jobs as well. So the second thing that you have to do is, if you do get a sponsor or a COS, is to verify the sponsor. Confirm if the school holds a valid office sponsor license via the official register, or you can come to us and we'll gladly do that for you. And then the third step is to apply for a QTS. You can come to us and we'll gladly apply for the QTS for you. We'll submit your recognition application to the Teaching Regulation Agency. And once your QTS is confirmed, the second thing now is to go for a job interview. On the interview, you receive an offer and you get your certificate of sponsorship. Once you have your offer and you have your certificate of sponsorship, the next thing will be for us now to apply for your visa, submit your skilled worker visa application using the certificate of sponsorship reference number, and then we prepare to relocate you to the UK. So we assist you in all these roles from role number 1 to role number 6. We offer you assistance. We help you search for the roles. We can give you verified agencies to work with, the recruitment agencies, and also help you verify if you have worked with a separate agency, if that agency is actually a genuine agency. We can verify your sponsor. Once you've gotten a school that's willing to sponsor you, we'll then apply for the QTS for you. We'll secure the job, the offer for you, and then we'll apply for a visa, and then we'll prepare to relocate you. So Tulia, it has 2 offices, one in Zimbabwe and one in the UK. So we work with our UK office as well in terms of assisting you guys with everything from relocation to application and everything. So we're not just an office that's doing this for the first time. We have first-hand experience. We have people in the UK who will be waiting to assist you as well. And here in Zimbabwe, we also have offices that will also assist you. Okay, so here's a typical timeline of how how long we expect the application process will take from the first time that you start looking for a job to the time that you relocate to the UK. So job search and applications, we're looking at somewhere between 4 to 12 weeks. And then the interview and the offer, we're looking for somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks. And then certificate of sponsorship, we're looking at somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks. And then for the visa decision, we're looking at somewhere between typically 3 weeks. And then for the QTS recognition, as mentioned before, we're looking at 2 to 4 months. And we will be there to guide you throughout everything, throughout the applications, and we'll be there with you during the whole process, waiting for the replies from the Home Office. We'll be your middleman in terms of applications and sending correspondence to the Home Office. So, where do we find sponsor licensed for teaching jobs? First of all, you should not pay anyone for a COS. There are certain channels where you can actually get a COS. A lot of people have been scammed. A lot of people have lost a lot of money trying to get COSs to go to the UK. So we will assist you to verify whether the person you want who wants to give you a COS is actually genuine or not. We have official channels that we will use, which is the UK Government Teaching Vacancies Services. This is a primarily free listing of state school roles where you can see all the vacancies in which the government is hiring teachers for their schools. You can also check for for registered licensed sponsors before applying anywhere on the government's website. We also have reputable international agencies where we will be able to get vacancies from and also verify the vacancies. And also there are associations for certain subjects like mathematics, physics, which also from time to time advertise jobs. And then in terms of bringing family and settling in, I know this is a big one for a lot of people because a lot of people want to be united with their dependents and they want to settle with their dependents in the UK as well. So skilled worker visa for teachers, that is, allows a spouse or partner and children under the age of 18 to join you. Each dependent applies and pays the fees separately, which we'll gladly do for you and assist you. The dependents generally have the right to work, and the children can attend school in the UK as well. So, a skilled worker visa in time generally counts towards indefinite leave to remain after the qualifying period of 5 continuous lawful residence in the UK. So, we will also assist you after you have met the regulations to stay in the UK. And to be able to qualify for indefinite leave to remain, we'll also assist you to apply for you to stay in the UK indefinitely and be able to settle there without any restrictions. You can also switch employers, you can move schools, but your new employer must also be a licensed sponsor and issue you with the new certificate of sponsorship. This will also assist you in doing. If you do manage to get a new COS whilst you're now in the UK and you want us to help you switch employers, we'll also assist you with that. And you also need to pay what is called IHS, which is the Immigration Health Surcharge. It is paid upfront for the length of your visa, and it gives you access to NHS and which is so NHS is the health services in the UK. So if you pay for the immigration health surcharge, it gives you access to that. So this also needs to be budgeted alongside all visa fees. So common scams, how can you protect yourself? For starters, you can come to us at Tulia. We'll be able to assist you in verifying whether the job application you have is correct. We'll help you put all your documents in order. We'll help you obtain the QTS, and we'll help you with any other questions or any other issues that you might have in terms of migrating or you going to the UK. So one thing you should never do is never pay for sponsorship. A genuine employer provides sponsorship free of charge. Any request for payment to secure a COS is a huge red flag. Verify the sponsor license yourself, or come to us and we'll gladly verify the sponsor license for you. Do not rely on an agent's word. You should check with the official gov.uk registrar directly, and you should be aware of guaranteed placement fees. Legitimate recruiters are typically paid by schools and not by candidates for standard placements. Use registered immigration advisors, such as us at Tulia. We are regulated in the UK and we are regulated here in Zimbabwe as well. So we are registered immigration advisors, and you pay for our legal advice. You don't pay for placement in the UK. Okay, so just to go through our steps once again, as I now finish up, we say you first have to gather your degree or teaching diploma or the PGC, and all your certificates that you have, which will be used as evidence of your experience, your teaching experience. You need to check your English proficiency, whether it meets B2 level. You need to start your QTS recognition application. You need to search for vacancies and check with if the sponsor is registered. You also need a short list of schools in shortage of subjects, which you have specified as STEM, and also budget for your visa, health surcharge, relocation costs, and confirm if any advisor you use is also registered and regulated in the UK. So there's something else that I didn't quite touch on, which is the postgraduate certificate in education. So if you do not have, for example, a teaching diploma or a degree in which can qualify you for the QTS route, another route that you can take is the student's route, which is you have to then go and do the postgraduate certificate in education. So a postgraduate teaching qualification is considered as a level 7 academic qualification that provides both theoretical and practical teaching training. So it is commonly taken after completing a bachelor's degree and can lead you towards the qualified teacher status, depending on the specific course that you do. So if you want to go to the UK as a teacher, but you're not a recognized teacher in Zimbabwe, you don't have the diploma or you don't have the teaching degree, you can still go to the UK via the postgraduate certificate in education route. So with this route, you'll still be able to work 20 hours a week, and you'll be that's during the term, and then during the holidays you'll be able to work full time. So it's also another route that you can take, and as soon as you're done with the postgraduate certificate in education, you can then qualify full time as a teacher in the UK. So if you do not have the teaching papers in order, you can always take this option. It's another option that's available for you. So that's my time. If you have any questions, if you're a teacher, you want to go to the UK, you have any questions, or you missed something, or maybe I did not address anything that's of concern to you, please write it down in the chat. I'll gladly answer all your questions in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wayne. And also in the chat, if somebody would like to book a free assessment, please book on the link that's put on that we've put in the chat. If you'd like to book a free assessment, please do that, and then we can definitely start the process with you. Our process, as Wayne has said, is very transparent. We don't make false promises. We're not scammers. We don't promise you anything, but we do say that we can guide you and help you through the process and make sure that you're not then scammed. So we're going to just quickly run over through to Michelle, who's going to do the presentation on social workers. And if you've missed the link, I'll post it again in the chat for you to to book in and do a free assessment and ask as many questions as well directly to your particular issue. Thank you so much. Michelle, are you ready?
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. My name is Michelle, and I will be taking you through the steps for getting to the UK to work as a social worker. All right, so why the UK and why social work? This is because there is a very big opportunity in terms of vacancies in the UK to work as social workers in different parts of the UK business and government sectors. So it's an eligible skilled worker occupation, and you go through it, you get to this through the health and care worker route. Opportunities there all across working with children, working with families, with adult services. Sometimes you get to work with hospitals and mental health people, young justice and refugee asylum services. So basically, the opportunity is very big. There is a lot of things that you can explore, a lot of areas to explore, a lot of departments, companies to look into when looking for work in the UK as a social worker. So if you have a working experience that is international, which in this case would have been in Zimbabwe or wherever else you have worked, this can be very valuable, but it needs to be translated or it needs to be explained in such a way that the UK regulators and employers are going to be able to understand. We'll unpack that in a little bit. So there is a very big opportunity, very large space, but it's also heavily regulated. And this is why we are here to help you to be able to take it from step to step and be able to meet all the requirements. So it's more than just having the qualification, it's how you present your application. Right. I want you to think of the journey as two gates. So there's the approach where you are a professional. So you want to be registered to practice as a social worker in England. So you need to first look at the question, can you be registered to practice as a social worker in England? Or alternatively, can you obtain a job that is eligibly sponsored and satisfies all the requirements to be able to travel and work in the UK? I'll explain the small difference between these two. So the other is the first step of the second. So first you need to be professionally and thoroughly registered before you even think of making the applications. Right. So is your Zimbabwean qualification suitable? So the first step is going to be getting your degree or your qualification. The Social Work England, it publishes a lot of overseas qualifications as comparable to their own standards. So if you have gotten your qualification from any Zimbabwean university, I've just listed a few examples there. You have the University of Zimbabwe, Bindura University, the Midlands State University, Women's Africa University. There's so many universities you can get this degree from, but if it is accredited and recognized in Zimbabwe, it is most likely going to be recognized and accredited even in social work. However, it's not just enough to have the degree. After getting the degree, you need to be registered with the Zimbabwe Council of Social Work. Now, this used to be an automatic registration back in the day that you could just get your degree and then automatically you're registered by the Zimbabwean Council of Social Work and they give you an ID as a member. But now you need to write exams. There is an exam that you get to write to be able to qualify for this, and this exam it costs $120. So after you have gotten your qualification, you register with the Zimbabwe Council of Social Work, you have an ID, and then you can begin the process of exploring, of registering with England social work. So Social Work England registration, what are we looking at? This is where we then get your qualifications to be aligned to what the UK requirements is. So first of all, the registration process starts with gathering all the evidence of your Zimbabwean qualification and your Zimbabwean registration with the Council of Social Work. They're going to need documents like your degree itself, your registration with the Council of Social Work in Zimbabwe. They need even a letter that has been written from your university, wherever you studied. They need a letter from the university that attests that you did complete this particular qualification with them, starting from such a period of time to this period of time. They also look at additional documents like proof of your work experience. So for the social worker route, you need to have at least 1 to 2 years of experience in Zimbabwe to be able to register with the Social Work England. So you will have to produce detailed records of your professional work, your placement, your experience in this field, and the regulator will be able to look at your documents collectively and determine whether or not you qualify to be registered with England. So we come in by helping to make this process easy for you. Instead of dealing with those offices by yourself, we help you with locating and identifying every single document that you need that is directly aligned with your needs. And once that has been identified, it will be easy for you to have your bundle of documents submitted, and you wait for the period of time. So typically this particular process takes about 6 months, give or take, depending also on the workload that they have. But basically within 6 months, if all the documents are gathered in advance and submitted well on time, they should have made a decision within that time frame. Next, we'll look at the English language requirement. Now, this is one of the most important things that you will need if you want to work in the UK as a social worker. You are going to need to qualify at B2 level, having written the English language test, which is the IELTS, and these specific language requirements cannot be overlooked. So no matter how many other qualifications you have or other registrations you have, this remains something that is important. So sometimes people make the argument that, oh, my degree was taught in English, so I don't need to take the language test. That is not correct in this case. So according to the gov.uk website, Zimbabwe is one of the countries that has been listed that regardless of having gotten your degree in an English language, you need to be able to, you still need to write the English language exam unless you are exempted, of which the exemptions only apply for medical conditions that can affect you from getting said qualification. I hope that this is clear. After you have gotten your English language test, we move on to the next step, which is finding the right UK role. Now, the social worker route, the occupation code of the social worker route is the 2461, and it is eligible for the health and care worker route. So you're not going there as a health and care worker, you're going as a social worker, but you qualify under you fall within the health and care worker bracket. So the roles that are available, they vary all across the UK government, the National Health Services, and private companies and private organizations that are all looking for employers in their different capacities. So you need to be very careful to make sure that the job is genuine, and the duties that are described on the job application as you are making your application, that they that the duties match the occupation that is being sponsored. For example, you could be applying for a job and then it says that we're looking for somebody to do care work, we're looking for someone who's going to be taking care of an elderly person, changing them, etc. So sometimes you might think this is my role, but then this is not something that is aligned to what you are looking for. Right, moving on. it is very important to check if the job is being sponsored. Not every job advert that is advertised that you see has a sponsorship. So it's very important to distinguish if the employer provides sponsorship with wishes the certificate of sponsorship, they will specify that with sponsorship. So those are the roles that you want to go for, because without sponsorship, you will not be able to do your visa applications. So this is the kind of thing that we help you with. And then we go into your CV. Your CV needs to meet the standards, the right qualifications, and the right standard of the market. And you have to have your supporting statement also with the right standards that are required. You need to show your Zimbabwean experience and put it into the UK context and make sure that everything is aligning to what the employer is looking for. Right. Moving on. When you have then found your job, you apply for a job, will help you, will prep you for the interview. Once you have been given a job offer, we'll also take you to the next step, which is the sponsorship and the visa. We'll help you to apply for the visa. So if the employer was eligible, as I've said before, they will give you a certificate of sponsorship. So once you have gotten the certificate of sponsorship, we use it to make the visa application for you. If you have your dependents, we also we make the application for your dependents. And after that has happened, we submit everything. We help you gather the appropriate evidence bundle needed by the Home Office for this particular application. We submit it, you do your biometrics appointments, and we wait for the visa to be decided. So there are fees that are paid at this stage, which are the application fees for the Home Office, and they typically change from time to time. But for this particular route, you have a benefit of being exempted from the immigration health surcharge, which is an additional amount that other routes, other skilled worker people have to pay. But with this particular route, you don't get to pay the immigration health surcharge, only the visa application fee. So where do applicants commonly get stuck? Where we want to come in, the gap that we are trying to bridge. We are trying to help bridge the issue where qualification or placement evidence is incomplete or difficult to verify. So it's either your degree is not very clear, or what you have worked, the roles you have worked in the past are not very clear. There'll be a need for documents that verify that you've worked at such a place, references. So you need to be able to have all this evidence, but people usually get stuck here. So some people don't have the right English language. Sometimes they write the English language test, but they don't get the appropriate qualification, which is the B2 level. Sometimes the professional experience that they have given in their CVs is not in accordance to what UK employers are looking for. And sometimes applicants apply to unsuitable vacancies and they don't get the job. Sometimes documents have inconsistencies in terms of the salary, in terms of the certificate of sponsorship, etc. So we come in to bridge that gap to help you to be able to navigate the system as you are going through the applications. So our professional support makes all the difference, because we'll personalize your document eligibility and document roadmap. We look at your case individually. We'll structure a custom-made list for the documents that you need as an individual, and after that, we'll be able to help you to go through the process. We also prepare you professionally for registration to register with the England Social Work Council. And when you have gotten the job, before you get the job, we'll help you with a UK-focused CV. We'll prep you for the interviews. We'll help you with identifying jobs that are not scams, but that look legitimate. We guide you through the visa processes and the sponsorship. And once that has been done, we'll also assist you with pre-departure preparation and practical UK orientation to prepare you for what's coming. And when you finally arrive in the UK, you get support to transition into the UK through our UK office. So to wrap everything up, to simplify your journey, you need to know those things. First of all, get your qualification, and then you have your two-way registration, which is the Zimbabwean registration and the UK registration as a social worker. You look for a job, you apply, you go for the interview, then you're offered the job. The job comes with a certificate of sponsorship. Then we help you with the visa application, and after that, you are free to practice in the UK. So each stage has its own list of documents, documentary evidence, and it is decided differently and it has its own time frames. So the earlier the route is assessed, the easier it is to identify gaps before you can face expensive delays. So be taking you from one stage to the next, holding your hand through it, and helping you to gather evidence that is compelling and that will make a good application for whatever stage that you are at. So this is an invitation to all of you. Please do register with the link that was shared on the chat, and we'll be able to give you conversations and consultations to be able to see where you are, where your qualification is at, and what kind of assistance that you need, what documents you need, everything all the support that you would have to get from the beginning right up to the end. Thank you very much. That will be all from me. Back to you, Mrs. B.
Michelle, are there any questions in the chat that you might need to address regarding it? May be worth one thing I wanted to just say as well is that if you have a degree in Zimbabwe, you can have your degree assessed via ACTIS. So you don't have to redo the English test, but you can have your degree assessed. So I just put that as well in the chat, just to say you can either do the English test or you can have your degree assessed so that you can get what's called a statement of comparability, which you can then use instead of redoing the English test. Yeah, if you want to just run through the chat to see if there are any questions that you, or if anyone's got any questions that they would like to ask, please feel free.
All right, just checking through the chat right now.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and address some of the questions that are in the chat. So we're going to start with the teaching questions that we have. Okay, so I see someone saying I have a degree in secondary education, computer science, software engineering. Yes, so you are the people that I needed. So if you have such qualifications, you can apply for a teaching job in the UK and you will be able to get it. We also have someone asking if ECD teachers are wanted in the UK. Yes, they are. Please use the link that we've provided in the chat to book an appointment with us and we'll be able to assist you. We have a very important question here that says, since Zimbabwe is not in the list of eligible for teaching in the UK, how will I be able to apply for a QTS? So Zimbabweans can apply for teaching in the UK. So the QTS that she's referring to is the digital service that might not be available to those who are currently in Zim, but you can apply through the assessment only route, which is also for QTS, where they'll assess you using your experience and the documents that you have provided. So you would have to provide them through us, through our offices. As mentioned before, we do have the UK offices in which we can assist you with that. You can also teach up to 4 years without the QTS. That's if you're teaching in the private sector. So QTS is mostly required for the public sector. So if you want to work for the government and work for government schools within the UK, that's when QTS is a requirement. If you want to work for the public sector, you can work up to 4 years without it. You can also go through the full initial teachers training, which is the ITT in England. As mentioned before, there is a student's route where you can go and get a postgraduate certificate in education plus 1 year training in England, where you'll be able to work for 20 hours and also work full-time during the holidays. So there are a number of options that are available for teachers to be able to work within the UK. Whether you do qualify for QTS or not, you can, as mentioned before, QTS is not a requirement to be able to apply for a skilled worker visa. So you can get your sponsorship, you can get your visa without the QTS and obtain it whilst you're in the UK. And there are also, as mentioned before, a number of routes that you can take for you to be able to work in the UK. Geography teachers wanted in the UK as well. Yes, geography teachers are wanted in the UK. You can apply for a skilled worker visa route, as all teachers are in the level 6 degree requirement. Hence, there's no limitations to which teachers may come. It's just that STEM teachers are the ones that are in most demand. But this is not to say that other teachers cannot apply as well and be able to obtain a visa to go and teach in the UK. So this applies to all those who are asking if English teachers are also wanted. Yes, you are wanted. So you can apply and go to the UK. So we mentioned STEM because those are the ones that are in high demand, but it does not mean that if you're an English teacher, you do not qualify, or if you're a geography teacher, you cannot get a place in the UK. So please use the link that we have put in the chat to book a free appointment with us. We'll go into detail with every questions that you have. We'll gladly assist you, and we'll make sure that all your questions and all your anxieties have been well dealt with.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Michelle, I think there's a question from someone who's got a social work degree in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. B. I did respond to that in the chat, but someone was asking if they were asking how long it takes to be registered with the England social work if they have already registered in Zimbabwe, and it's approximately 6 months. I don't know if there's any follow-up question.
That's great, and thank you so much, and thank you for all the questions. If you would like to just have an assessment of your qualifications, and one of the things from Tulia is that we're very realistic as well about your options and availability of roles. Working as a teacher and a social worker as well is quite challenging. The demand is there, but the roles are challenging. We'd hoped to have a social worker today to just come and talk about how it has been and some of the challenges that people face when they're here, but they were not available last minute. But I think it's also just important to highlight that it is very challenging, and even just dealing with the children in schools, the children themselves are quite a lot of it is classroom management as well, because there's a lot of challenges, especially in the public sector rather than in private schools. and there is quite a lot of, behavioral issues in many of the schools. But it's still manageable, and I think that's why there will always be roles, because not a lot of people stay because it's quite challenging. So it's not easy. It's not something that we would say it's easy, but it is an opportunity. And for some of you who may have children who are looking to do further studies or to do a master's, it may be worth coming in to do a master's in like social work, and then staying on to look for work, or even doing the PGCE, or coming to do a degree here and then moving on into employment. It can also be easier to do whilst you are already here, or when you have a qualification from the UK. So we also advise on student routes and looking at universities that are slightly more affordable and things like that. Those are all things that we can help you and help you to search. And one of the things that is really important for us is just to help you to find genuine ways. When there were the care visas, a lot of people were scammed, and a lot of people came here and they were not genuine roles. But it doesn't mean that because of what happened, you may hear people saying there's no more recruitment, because the care worker visa has been closed. However, there are still other routes of entry, even in other sectors, even in construction, in welders. So we'll be going through the different sectors, so that there's different options to explore. Recruitment hasn't been closed, and it's not just UK, it's all over the world. There's still a shortage of labor. There's still an aging population. So the roles will always come and the opportunities will always come. And so it's important to follow us, follow our pages, sign up to the channel, so that you can always get information up to date. If you may not qualify now, or you may not get an opportunity now, opportunities will always come, and they'll always be there all over the world. If that's something that you are interested in and something that you're looking to do, we will always have more information. But for now, please select a date and time for just an initial assessment, so that we can just go through your personal situation and then try and support you in that. Thank you so much, Wayne and Michelle, and thank you everyone for joining. If you haven't seen the link, I think we can just share the link and leave that on for a few moments, so that you can just, if you'd like to book, just book a free appointment there, so that you can just get an assessment, an individual assessment. Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, we'll come off now at 1 o'clock, but we'll leave on the links if there's anyone who would like to book, and we'll also share this recording as well. So thank you so much, everyone.